all of these teams have.
Exactly so,
And with
also, yeah, yeah. And here we can see that LCF, they did ban out on the Eve. That is, on one hand, it's a very standard ban because Eve can outrange any of the current meta mid laners, while DS will be the ones banning out on a Sicilian. Both these teams showing respect towards the prowess that the mid laner Peter and Yamraj hold. So here we will be able to see that both of these teams looking for those comfort picks. And now the Hilda band coming in from LCF, once again sticking with what they know, sticking to their principles. And now Bruno getting banned out back from the side of DS. Definitely don't want that machine gun marksman to be hitting you from miles away.
I mean, true, until this marksman receives his first nerf, I mean, soon he might be getting a nerf in his range. Until then, I'm sure that he is a permanent ban in all of the tournaments, unless you have something much more important than banning this marksman. With that, the final ban for the first phase from the side of LCF, it will be a chip. Well, understandable because we all know that he is pretty good with his pickups, with his ultimate. The shortcut can take your life at any moment by surprise. And Zushin also getting banned right there, of course. A great ban because she does have that early game firepower. The CC she can provide towards the early, she can help snowball the entire game. And with that, LCF going in, the first pick being a Matilda, a great pick if you ask me.
Exactly. So that Matilda is definitely going to be a steal coming in by LCF since she is just the best Roma as we can possibly think of. And here DS will be the ones trying to pick up on that alpha, maybe for their jungle, while Gatot Kacha could be going in for the side of EXP. But of course, the alpha does get picked up along with a Granger. Followed by Bruno. Honestly, Granger has risen up to that, the top meta list, and he's definitely in the top three right now because of how much range and poke potential he has, especially when he gets those stacks up. After 150 to 200 stacks, you can just spam whatever skill you want with Granger and never run out of energy.
Well, true. He's been causing a lot of waves in the lineup done. And with that, the next two picks from the side of LCF, it will be a Hylos on the EXP along with a Queen Vexana. The draft looking really well to me, especially because Hylos is pretty tanky. He can be in the front line, deal out a lot of damage, but then again, he lacks the mobility. But then again, with Matilda, with her guiding winds, she can, both of these can absolutely slay into the game. And not to mention, Vexana with that fast wave clear, with the GNCC and the damage, she is another great pick. So I'm really hoping to see a lot of fast rotations coming from the side of Team LCF.
Exactly. So, and even the CC pick coming in by DS for the EXP. So, it is going to be a CC versus the Hylos. Early game, definitely Hylos will be the one winning it out from the side of LCF. So, that's a smart pick. But towards the late, but then again, CC with that Vorax and the Brute Force having that CD reduction and the movement speed and the true damage will be winning out at least in the laning phase. Team fights, that's a completely different story. Any team can win it out depending on how you execute your combos and or how you actually play out in the execution of your skills in the team fights. And now for the bans, though, we can see the Garut Kacha ban coming in. They do not want the Garut Kacha even in the roam position coming in by DS, while Haya and Joy going to be the standard bans by the side of Daaku Sena because they know what LCF is capable of doing on those heroes, especially in the jungle. And the last and final ban is going to be the Tigreal. So there isn't much options left open for DS, especially if they were planning on picking up on that crowd control. As for the options of picks, though, DS can actually pick up on a Valentina or even a Xavier, which would might not be that useful. So they definitely need to go in for something like a Valentina. And for Rome, obviously, will it's a matter of time before we actually find out on what they want to pick up.
And just like Sarah mentioned, they will be going in for Valentina. I think she's a great option here because, like, Aurora wouldn't be Like if you go in for her, I don't think so that she will be much useful, especially because they do have a Hylos and Matilda, a lot of mobility onto the hands of LCF. And of course, Valentina can utilize a lot of ultimates. She can take up that circling eagle for someone who is trying to escape. And of course, Eternal Guard and the Glorious Pathway is up to her taking. So great pick, especially in the early game. She is a mage who can actually compete against Vexana when it comes to the damage that she will be giving out. And with that, the final two picks in the hands of Team LCF, they might go in for a Suyo since he's not banned out. And I think an X-Borg or a Suyo along with a Matilda can actually do a great job. They can compete against an Alpha who is also a fighter, a pretty, fast jungler if you ask me.
Exactly so. And now the pick is going to be an Yi Sun-shin again. In the previous game, that Yi Sun-shin wasn't very helpful because there wasn't enough heals or front lines coming in. But I was going to mention that Lolita pick coming in from the side of Daaku Sena, and they actually picked it up. And even the 1-1 here would actually have to use her ultimate at a time when Lolita doesn't have that protective shield. So here, that one Lolita pick counters 4 heroes from the side of Laxmi Chit Fund if she goes ahead with that extra healing kind of spell, and even the Alpha and the CC will be pretty unstoppable. Combined with the Valentina copying up that IMU, possibly the Glorious Pathway or the Eternal Order, even the Circling Eagle, it's a pretty solid draft coming in from the side of DS. And with that, we will be diving right back into the Land of Dawn, everyone. DS sitting at match point with a 1-0 while LCF fighting for their lives, trying to get that 1 point in their hand and try for a reverse sweep, which would be really difficult considering the form that DS is in right now.
True, I really love the Lolita. It's like the last nail on the hammer. If she plays well, the bomb called 1-1, she can be diffused completely. And with that, I think at this point Granger is kind of way behind 1-1 when it comes to the damage because just look at 1-1. She's already trying to dish out some damage right there, and to them not having a good time of their life. But then again, in the opposite lane, CC will be the one. I believe that she will be able to overpower Hylos pretty easily.
Exactly. It's all going to come in with that true damage potential which CC has. And look at Petroculus already trying to get the kill onto Johan, gets the Spear of
Oh,
Alpha, but gets stunned out by the Vexana and will be taken down by Johan. Instead, there wasn't enough backup coming in by the side of Team DS, which Alpha actually needed. And now here DS is looking on the back foot right now. Haitatsu and Yamraj will be trying to escape as much as possible. Johan dealing a lot more damage in this game as compared to that of the previous, especially because he has that Matilda to shield him and help him escape once he dives in with his first kill dive. And the Granger, though, will have to play it safe because there is a rotation coming in towards his lane. Will be securing the last hit and just moving back.
that was too much of an overextension coming from the side of our Patroclus because even though you are the alpha, your team wasn't there to support you. We need at least one person. I was really hoping that he might be able to secure that kill, but the revitalize coming from Pookie just came in the nick of time, saving the teammate, saving YSS, and giving him the first blood of the game. And I think this is not a good start because giving jungler the first blood is never in your favor.
Exactly so, but here, Absolute Cinema makes a misplay, gets the crossbow of tag activated on him, forgets that Error will have that inspire onto him, and in the early game, you did not want to mess with the 1-1. So here, DS seems to be making a little bit of those misplays, but look at the Eternal Lord coming in by Valentina instead of Vexana, gets the double knock up on towards the backline, but here we can see that Pokipine will be looking for that engage, gets the kill on towards Yamraj, taken away by Peter, but Petroculus finds a kill onto Johan instead. That's a pretty fair trade, getting a kill onto the jungler for that of the mage. But the turtle was secured by LCF, so as for the goal lead, it would be looking a little bit in favor of that of LCF for now.
I mean, truly great team fight, but then again, in the early game, like our Lolita isn't that strong enough. She received enough, and like she is a support after all. She cannot tank, as you know. She needs the flask of Oasis. She needs those equipments before she can actually start to tank out. So till that time, I think they really need to play it safe, especially because the side of LCF also have a high loss always ready with the glorious pathway and the revitalize, saving them in the brink of time.
Exactly. So, but the circling eagle connects onto Yamraj here. He is trying his best to escape, but the Peter finds the kill. The Norman on Blast lasting, getting the kill on to Bomb there as well as Peter, and they both will be losing their lives. Error here trying his best to get his ultimate unlocked, but will be managing to escape. Johan here trying to look for the engage, uses of the retribution onto the Granger, which isn't the best of decisions, but considering the fact that Patroclus will be left alone, uses the Alpha charge to escape. Yamraj here looking for a possible damage, but will be managing to steal away the blue from that of Johan. And here things are starting to look really equal for both of these teams right now, because LCF is providing a far better competition in this game. Jazz, though, having the time of his life, just securing that turret gold and getting the hits onto the turret. Circling Eagle not dealing much damage, obviously. It's a CC after all.
I mean, the game changer in those team fights is absolutely fine because if you see, he's always available with his revitalize, with the tanking in front in all the team fights. Meanwhile, Sacy more focused on the taking down the lane, taking down the first tier turret, more focused on the macro, ignoring the micro, and with that, just look at the
Okay, we
turtle
can
taken by
see
Alpha
the
once again.
Norman on Blast connecting right there, and Alpha manages to steal away the turtle, but Yamraj will be forced to flicker out of that situation as the Valentina, the Rhapsody connects on to two of them actually, but look at Vexana dealing quite a lot of damage. Yamraj is very low right here. They will need to clear out the minions as much as possible. The Glorious Pathway connects. Pokipine looking for the engage, but will we manage to escape with 1 HP with the Guiding Winds and the Revitalize to help him secure that last bit of HP which he needed. Absolute Cinema though will have to run away. Matt does not manage to get the crab, and two people on his face will be looking for that tier 1 push in the bottom lane, but Haitatsu and Petroculus are here. Gets the Spear of Alpha, gets the kill on the Boom, will be managing to get the tier 1 in the bottom lane itself. Johan here looking for the damage with his lone destructor, but will not be managing to do much. Fails the dash into that turret. Definitely not looking good. And the Rhapsody keeps hitting error on 1-1 from such a distance. But here, look at Jazz. He's using up his skills as much as possible, but both of the teams would be looking for a disengage. But error is in danger. We'll have to play it safe. We'll have to run away from that bush because Haitatsu is there for the backup.
I mean, finally, Jazz making his way onto those team fights because he successfully took down the first turret of the game, and with that, things are looking mostly equal for both the teams. And I think Jopom, like he is actually towards the front lane and he's a great support for the team. Then again, if he's taken down, a lot of team fights might be there onto the losing end. So even if he's providing the vision, he needs to stay careful because Petroculus damage in the early game is quite insane, especially because YSS is a hero who will be scaling off towards the late game. Towards the late game, he will be dealing an immense amount of damage, but until then, they really need to play it safe, especially because 1-1 is doing a great job trying to, bait people away. But then again, like
Exactly.
Lolita is always there for the counter.
Exactly. So, but honestly, look at that curtain call connects perfectly, but the Eternal Guard knocks up Jazz, who manages to escape with his enhanced dash. And here, Young Raj will be the one finding a kill onto Pine. But let's see if you're trying to look for that mid lane push, but Absolute Cinema with his Rhapsody and first kill, clearing it away very easily. Both the teams have such a poor kind of composition here that they are making each other so very low before the team fight even starts. 1-1 though will be caught out pretty low in that situation. The Norman on Blast does connect, but DS would not take the risk of diving in too deep under a tier 2 turret, while ABC will be the one securing that tier 1 towards the bottom lane.
I mean, if you see, it was Dupom who was forced to retreat. He had to use up his second skill, and just retreat. At that point, that's when, just like I mentioned before, that's what DS is actually capitalizing onto their advantage, taking down Fine right there. And of course, when two of the frontliners, two of your roamers aren't there with you, you will absolutely win those team fights, especially because Yamraj is doing an amazing job dropping those eternal guards around 2 to 3 people. His knockups are really beautiful.
Exactly so, and like LCF, though they're also holding out pretty strong, I would say, because they aren't letting DS push through their turrets either. They're holding that mid lane pretty well. And Error right now, he has a pretty decent amount of gold, I would say. He's on a 1-0-0, so not many casualties there, and even YSS is going to be farming up as much as possible. The damage potential coming from that of DS is just so much higher right now. And on towards the late game, the Lolita will be able to block as many projectile hits that are going to be coming in. So look at that, the Spear of Alpha connects up there with the glorious pathway, gets the stun onto Absolute Cinema, and here the Eternal Guards will be fighting against each other, but ABC will be finding the kill onto Pookie Pine. Jazz getting caught out very, very low. Another Spear of Alpha comes in, but they will be forced to back up. Petroclus gets caught out by the 1-1, gets the crossbow of Tang, finds the kill. Finally, Yamrad getting caught out very low, will be forced to run away. ABC coming in the nick of time to save it as LCF finally finds an opening to secure that tier 1 in towards the mid lane.
What a beautiful team fight, especially Error diving, like coming from all the way from the bot lane towards the top just to help it out, and then unlocking that crossbow because Lolita wasn't there as a hurdle. So, yes, of course, she really needs a bit more of her equipment, and then she will be absolutely dealing a lot of damage right there.
Exactly so, but all the members of LCF are getting caught out very low, but Era will be finding the kill onto Haitatsu, who is, though it's a Lolita, he is on that favor build, so he will be taken down pretty squishy in terms of the stuns and the damage coming in from that of LCF. So DS here now looking on the back foot as that 1-1 is single-handedly making the difference during the team fights. DS would really have to capitalize on their damage to actually burst them down, but because otherwise LCF will definitely have the upper hand during the games, which, as we can see now, is happening live in front of us.
Well, true, and some poking going on. I think the next turret tier from the mid lane might also be taken down, but no, they managed to just defend it for now. And just like we said before, One definitely making waves in this game. And not to mention that YS is also doing an amazing job with his ultimate. And of course, it's 10 minutes in the game. He really has some of those equipments. Just look at that endless battle already onto his grab. He will be packing punches. And with that, I think, Absolute Cinema really needs to just buck up at this point because even though his damage is there, it's still not enough because Hylos is always there taking those punches he's giving.
Exactly so. Like DS, right at this point, they have a decent amount of frontline because of the CC, the Lolita, as well as the Alpha. But that frontline isn't going to protect them from the coming onslaught of that of Era, as well as Vixana, as well as Johanna. Because the three main damage dealers, but look at that four-man knockup coming in by the Eternal Lord by Yamraj. ABC here looking for the engage, but Haitatsu will be taken down once again. Yamraj looking for a possible engage, but Matilda's heals just seem to be better as compared to that of a Lolita, and that is why LCF is having a far easier time in this game trying to get those hits, trying to get the kills, and that is exactly what they are capitalizing on right now.
I mean, Lolita is a tanker, but then again, like I mentioned before, she is semi-support. Just look at the build. She has an Oracle along with a Flask of Oasis. No wonder she's getting melted down pretty easily. And if you see from the side of LCF, they have made so much anti-heal with the Vixana, with Dominance Eyes right there, that they're not able to, that like the anti-heal, the life drain from those equipments is actually countering out the heal which our Lolita can provide. I mean, she does have a revitalize, but then how much can you actually heal when so many anti-heals are upon you? And with that, like, you only have one frontliner, which is Lolita. And from the side of Team LCF, they have so much tankiness. The shields coming from our Matilda along with Pookie Pine onto that high loss, making an absolute wall for the side of Team Daaku Sena. And I think CC really needs to maybe go up from the flanks, try to take someone down because at this point she's not able to support the team much in those team fights.
Exactly. So, like, that is what happens, you're lacking a front line against heroes like that of 1-1 and Vixana and Biases. But look at that 4-man knockup coming in because of the circling eagle. Error finds the mega kill, the Spirit of Alpha getting used to escape instead of engage, which says a lot about how much LCF are going to be dominating in this game. Era single-handedly trying to carry as much as possible in this game, leaving that 1-1 open. They did. DS actually banned out the 1-1 in the first game, so I do not know why they left that hero open in this game. But then again, LCF is doing the hell of a great job right now, and the Lord will be charging down the mid lane.
This is the 12 plus minute Lord, and he will be hefty. Let's just see if DS is able to, sustain because the lane clearance isn't enough either. They have a Valentina along with a Granger. Most of them are kind of skill dependent. So, yeah, they lack the push and the defense capabilities.
Exactly here, and look at that, the perfect marking coming in by the side of Team LCF. But Reckless here will be caught out very low. ABC is already dead. There's no damage output coming in from the side of Team GS as LCF manages to secure the second game in this best of three. They get the win, settle the skin for a 1-1, and now we will be right back on towards game number three.
Well, what an absolute domination coming from the side of Team LCF, especially Error making waves with his 1-1. And I really thought that Haitatsu is a perfect counter. Like, he was a lord of countering Peter, countering Error, countering Johan too. But then again, he was getting melted down. The front line from the side of Team Daaku Sena wasn't enough. Like, CC is a great hero when it comes to the laning phase, and she can hold out amongst most of the fighters in her lane. But then again, when it comes to the team fights, she cannot like give much. She's like a single target damage right there and cannot sustain either with that build. And unless you look for some flanking or maybe going behind trying to take down those, the mage or the marksman first, she will not be much of a use there.
Exactly so, and this game it was won out by LCF here. Both of these teams at a 1-1 match point. It's going to be a tiebreaker next. And even though Haitatsu had a very good pick of countering them, Jazz went ahead for a Sea Halberd, which I don't think is going to be that useful against so much of damage which is incoming. And he should have gone in for some defense instead. I'm sure there are going to be chances for both of these teams to show better in the next game, which will be up very, very soon. And in terms of damage, of course, it's going to be the YSS as well as Peter on that Vixana who deal the maximum amount of damage from the side of LCF, while Valentina and Granger stick to doing their job from that of DS. But that CC pick right there, it didn't work out perfectly well, and the side of DS were lacking in onto that crowd control, which is why catching that 1-1 nearly impossible for that of DS, which is why she free fun and carried the entire game in their favor.
Well, yes, exactly. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going